So moving on to the third strategy is this idea of establishing structures to monitor the progress of your initiative. So it's one thing to say, here's our focus areas, and then here's our projects, here's our teams. But as the work is actually, as the rubber hits the road and the work is actually happening, how can you make sure that the work that you're doing is actually contributing to the impact that you would want it to have?
Yeah, and so there are two key resources that combine as a strategic plan, right? We've been talking a lot about this. And the first thing is a strategic direction. And so this is actually a example on the left-hand side of a strategic plan that we made for a district in New York. And they called it Journey of a Learner. And what that document does is it serves to codify the strategic direction and priority areas of the district for the next 5 years. Within this strategic plan, they have all of their initiatives. They had 5 initiatives that they wanted to take on and explained what they are, as well as a clear mission, vision, and values statement within this document. And it is community facing, public facing. They are posting it all over the school. Teachers know about it. Students know about it. And so it's a really great way to get the message out there of like, what are we doing in our school district for the next 5 years, right? And then second is the implementation dashboard, some type of way to have a track towards progress towards each of the goals that you just articulated in the strategic plan or the strategic direction. It's really important that you have structures in place to actually implement these ideas, because we all know that things get really busy. You have a million things on your plate. And so having a one-stop shop like an implementation dashboard can be really helpful in order to execute some of the ideas that you have in your strategic direction or your strategic plan.
We found that it is really helpful to have both an actual physical document that, there's always that fear that, we have a strategic plan, but it's sitting on the shelf and it's collecting dust. We put together so much, it's a labor of love, so much time and effort from all different facets of the community came together to and was poured into this plan, but it's just sitting on the shelf. And people look at it, it's our strategic plan, it's on our website, but it's not, for any number of reasons, we're not living it out. And so like Samantha was saying, it is important in some way, and we found that it's important to have a transparent way to have visibility into the progress of the work that's being done for your entire community. And so considering something like, a public-facing plan or implementation status updates or something like that that can be hosted on your website, that's something that we found has been really helpful in generating buy-in from all different constituent groups in your community. And then there's this idea of keeping track of your strategic plan by thinking about key metrics throughout the course of the 5 years of its lifespan. And we usually like to think of these metrics as 3 tiers. We call the first one, and these are all also very buzzy. And so, we'll give you the names, but then we'll also tell you what each of these mean. So the first one is this idea of fidelity metrics. And then beyond that is the effectiveness metrics. And then finally, the impact metrics. The first layer, the first tier of metrics is fidelity. Did we do the thing? If we said that we were going to create a flow chart for our decision-making process, did we actually create a flow chart? And that can be a simple yes or no, like, did we do this thing? And if I, as a parent in the district, can go in and see, oh, hey, they created a flow chart, they are on track. I'm really interested in this particular initiative, in this particular project. I see that they created a flow chart. That's that first tier. The extent to which the initiative was implemented. Did we do the thing? The next tier is effectiveness. The extent to which the initiative that was implemented produced the desired effect. For example, with this idea of a decision-making protocol that was created, that was turned into a flow chart, a question that you might ask is, are people using the flow chart? Or did we use the flow chart in the most recent board meeting? That could be a measure of effectiveness. Are we using the flow chart at our board meetings? And finally, this idea of impact, thinking long-term over the course of 5 years, the extent to which long-term and sustained changes occurred in the target population or based on the specific initiative. And we found that if you're able, as a group of constituents that are working with the district, or if you are in the district working towards living out your strategic plan and implementing the plan, if you're able to articulate metrics that are aligned to these 3 ideas, fidelity, effectiveness, and impact, it makes it really, really less challenging to actually monitor progress towards the goals that you've articulated for yourselves in the district. And we found recently in all of the work that we've done, especially in the past year with districts supporting the creation and development of strategic plans, that they all want to use this system. They all want to use this terminology and this mental model around these are 3 tiers of metrics and 3 tiers of progress monitoring checkpoints, so to speak, that we can use to just make sure that we are on track for each of the initiatives that we've identified for the work. And so the last thing that we'll share is, so we've shared 3 templates. I told you we have a lot of templates today. This is an example. This is a blank template that we've used recently with several of our districts. That has gotten, a lot of positive reviews from the districts that we work with as a way to keep track of implementation and monitoring. You can see that for each pillar or focus area, for each of the initiatives that have been identified as the team that's in charge of this work, you can identify over the course of the next 5 years, what phase of implementation it might be in. Are you just researching this initiative? Are you actually ready to implement this initiative? And so on and so forth. And then you'll see in the template itself, you'll see examples of a tab at the bottom where you can actually create tabs for each school year. So there's an overall tab, and then there's a tab for each school year. So in school year 22-23, these are the initiatives that are just the initiatives that are going to be implemented. And actually, it might be helpful to give you a quick visual. So it looks like this. And again, this is a copy. You can create your own copy and do with it as you will. But then you'll see that there's also a template that we provide that's like a year-over-year template. So for example, in school year 22-23, this is the focus area. This is maybe this pillar 1, and these are the initiatives in pillar 1. These are both maybe in the implementation phase. And then here's, essentially a project plan. Here's the person that's leading. Here are the team members. When does the work start and end? What are the checkpoints? And then when does the next phase start? And a few of our districts are actually taking some version of this and making it public facing, hosting a version of this on their website so that any community member can come in, click into the district website, go to the strategic plan page, landing page, and then actually see, hey, this is what they said that they were doing. And this is where they are in the process. And I think it has proven to be extremely powerful in generating transparency and visibility into the process, and ultimately buy-in and trust amongst all of the constituent groups in your community.